To everyone who is seeking happiness, Murdo MacDonald-Bayne. Yes, everyone is seeking happiness in one way or another. Yet most are frustrating the way to happiness through their own foolish habits. Happiness is not difficult to obtain when the truth is known, and in this letter I wish to give to those in search of happiness a way of life that will lead to this precious thing. Now, when your mind is filled with impressions from the objective world, there can never be happiness. If your mind is filled with past wrongs, there can never be happiness. If you are continually taken up with the past and the future, there can never be happiness. If you are conforming to some ritual with fear that you have violated the law of this ritual, you will never find happiness. If you fear life or death, you can never find true happiness. But there is a way of life that is happiness, and I have found it, and that is to live in the present always, because there is no other time. The great significance of this truth has not dawned upon most people. They are always dwelling in the past and the future, with the result that the only time there is, the present, is frustrated. If your mind is filled with the wrongs of the past and fears for the future, you will readily see that your action now is limited and obscure. As action is the only thing that counts in your life, and it can only be done in the present, and that present is every moment, and every moment must be free from frustration. I am not saying that all your experiences are valueless. They are of the greatest value, and those which are of most value are always with you in the present. Without experience you would be dormant, asleep in your limitation. Yet experience without true discernment and continual adjustment in the present is but a repetition of error. If you rebel against the wrongs and rights of the past and struggle with your emotions, the way to happiness is suffocated. Your real self, which is life, only lives in the present and is the only creative power, and this is you. And if you would understand life, you must seek the truth of life away from the narrowness of conformity, free from the dictates of religious authority, however learned they may be. For life is more important than any beliefs, and to liberate life you must liberate it from beliefs, authority, tradition, past and future, birth and death. If you are bound by any of these things, then you can never know true happiness. I am not giving you a new doctrine, nor am I forcing upon you any new or old authority, for this would be a limitation. The main thing is to free yourself from all that frustrates you in the present, and to do this effectively it is necessary to question the things that you hold dear and precious, so that by inviting doubt you will be able to discern what is real and what is not real, so that only that which is of true value will remain. The fact that you have divided spirit and matter in your mind, you imagine that spirit dwells in some far-off unknown locality, and where the spirit is, there only can happiness be. But spirit is here and now. It is your real self and only lives in the present and is the cause of all activity. When this is understood, the way to happiness is opened. If you ignore the physical or material and live in the theory of a separate life in the spirit in some far-off place unknown, you can never help the world you are in. Life is one, you cannot divide it. There is no ordinary or extraordinary life. Immediately you try to divide life, you are caught up in limitation and frustration. You cannot divide life into that which is manifesting and that which is you unmanifest, for it is the same life. You cannot separate the life in you from the life in God, for there is but one life and one God. You cannot divide the inner from the outer, or the outer from the inner, or the visible from the invisible, nor can you separate cause from effect. When you have understood this, then the way to happiness is opening up to you. Form is not reality, but reality is the cause of form and is within and behind all form. To attain to true happiness you must not seek the form itself, but realize the life that is behind and within all form, and it is this life which is ever present. The present to the troubled heart is freedom. Bondage is living in the past or future. Realize the present, then you will know that it is physical laws that make good and evil realities, when in themselves they are but images in the mind. We are told that we must let go of the tree of knowledge of good and evil and cling to the tree of life that will become to us as a spring of living water rising up to eternal life. Life remains itself no matter in what form it expresses itself, yet the form is not separate from life, for the manifestation is but the living energy of that life. When this is known, solid matter no longer is to us just a piece of something, but is the expression of the life that is within ourselves. The world is no longer a prison house, and reality has ceased to be a stranger as we become conscious of its presence. Freedom and happiness come with the realization of this reality through your own consciousness within to achieve perfection in the present, for there is no other time. Therefore happiness is living in the present, giving expression to the Absolute through the form He created for that purpose, and this is yourself. You will see then that action in the present becomes pure action when past and future do not frustrate the now. If you can become conscious of this truth, there is freedom, and freedom is the way to true happiness. But if you are still eating of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you will never become fully aware of the one absolute being that is ever present, acting in you now. Jesus said, "Know ye not that I am in the Father, and the Father is in me, and it is the Father whoever remains in me is performing his own deeds." When this truth is known, all tension, all fears, all sense of right and wrong, all hates, all jealousies, all things that frustrate your life in the present are dissolved away. The finite must lose itself in the infinite, then the illusion of separation disappears. There is no separation between the manifestation and the life that created it, for Jesus said, "When you have seen me, you have seen the Father." His message was wholeness. You cannot separate apart from the whole. This separation only exists in your mind. It is this illusion that frustrates true happiness. If you feel yourself to be only a part and you are seeking to become one with the life that is behind all visible manifestation, and if this life is external to you, there will be a continuous struggle until you have realized and recognized it as the same life within you. Then and then only can you conquer separation. Thus the way is open to true happiness. When this infinite life is realized, there is no more separation, no more sorrow, no more pain, no past, no future, no birth, no death, for the presence of the omnipresence is your only reality. There is no longer any craving, for all that is mine is thine. It matters little now what appears external to you. With this understanding you will know what is behind all manifestation, for the material world is the revelation of the creative power. When you understand the conditions around you, you will no longer be afraid. The material world will no longer be mere material, but will represent the intelligent use of the law of creation within yourself, and this law is only operative in the present, never in the past or the future. These are but dreams in the mind of man. When these are discerned, there is a state of freedom with the enraptured feeling of drawing your breath from God every moment, with no past memory of wrongs, filled with knowledge of the divine love expressing itself in the present always. This is the ecstasy of true happiness. Benediction. Oh, beloved presence, I hear thee calling to me to awaken from my sleep of delusion that separates me from thee. The sunlight of thy presence blazes forth in me, yet I was blind to its creative power and beauty while my soul was darkened with the delusion of separation. Let the fragrance of thy presence pour through my being to overflow with thy love for all thy creation. Oh, beloved one, I now drink of thy presence and love that spreads everywhere, revealing thy everlasting nature, embracing all within thyself, and have found myself at last in thee and thee in me, living in the present always. My peace and my love I leave with you. Yours sincerely, 𝗦 MacDonald-Bayne.